I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know from seeing all the questions, we have a lot to get through. So my name is Christina Bright. I'm the Executive Director of Marketing at Westminster, and we're so excited that we had such a good crowd of parents and students that have questions considering everything that's going on. We thought this would be good to kind of ease everybody. So welcome. We're going to just go ahead and go around each of the panel members that were on the email that you got. I'm going to ask that each of them go around, introduce themselves, and then I'm going to turn it over to our president after that so he can give his update, and then we'll dive into all of your questions. We'll kind of go through the topics that had come in and try to cover as many of those as we can. At the end of it, we'll try to leave time for a Q&A section, and that we just kind of ask that during those topics, if you have questions, you can ask them in the chat, and we'll kind of respond during that. And then at the end, we'll go through how to use the raise your hand feature to ask questions. So we'll go ahead and get into it. And if I can just ask that everybody go around and introduce yourselves to everybody that's on the call.
I guess I'll start. I'm Fletcher Lampkin. I'm the president of the college. I've had about 20 years of higher education since year 2000. And before that, I was the dean at West Point and had an Army career. I've been at Westminster College now for 7 years, from 2000 to 2007. And I came back again in 2017. And I'm pleased to be your president.
Hey everybody, my name is Paul Orslin. I serve as the Vice President for Enrollment Services here at Westminster College. Just like to thank everyone for joining us today. I think we have a lot of great information to share.
Hello everybody, I'm Cinnamon Brown. I'm the Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs and Associate Dean of Faculty. I started at Westminster 10 years ago as a professor in history. I still teach every now and then. And I've been in the Dean's office now for about 3 years. And I'm glad that all of you can tune in today. It's always so fun to see a Brady Bunch screen in front of me. Now, if you're wondering what that is, you might want to ask your parents what I mean by the Brady Bunch screen, but it's pretty cool.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Casey Lacey. I am the Vice President and Dean of Student Life. Cinnamon Brown and I often travel together because we have really cool names. I've been at the college for 9 years, started in the Wellness Center as a licensed psychologist teaching psychology, but now I oversee all of student life. So it's pretty much everything outside of the classroom. So I'm very, very excited to see lots of you. Special shout out to Angela, who is actually my cousin. So my second cousin is coming here. So I got to see her. It's good to see family on this call. So welcome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Callie Wright-Smith. I am actually a 2004 graduate of Westminster College, and I came back to Westminster in 2013, and I am currently an associate professor in the political science department, but I'm also the director of the first year experience, which I'll talk a little bit about more, but it means that I spend a lot of time with all of our new freshmen. So I'm really happy to actually get a chance to see a lot of you on here today, since we weren't able to see each other physically in person this year for SOAR. So welcome, and we're happy to have you here.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Bristow. I'm the Associate Vice President for Enrollment Services and Director of Financial Aid. I am completing my 24th year at Westminster College, and so I have enjoyed over the years working with students, prospective students, as well as current students and their families as they maneuver through the complexity of the financial aid process. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you as you embark on your educational experience here at Westminster.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Barry Baumgartner. I came to Westminster in 2013. I'm an associate professor of education. I'm the education department chair, and I am the Digital Blue coordinator. So I'm really happy to have you all here and happy that we can connect this way.
Hi, I'm Nate Leonard. I teach in the English department. I'm associate professor of English literature. I'm also kind of the Shakespeare guy. I run our performing arts club, and I'm kind of the theater person on campus. But I am also the associate coordinator of Digital Blue, and that's largely why I'm here.
Great, thank you guys. Well, I think at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to our president. Everybody, I kind of took all the questions that I had gotten submitted. Thank you guys for doing that. We had so many great questions. So we've kind of broken them up. I've tried to break them up to each panel member that who would be the person to discuss it. But I think that it would be best to have our president start and kind of give an update on what's going on with campus in the wake of COVID and everything that's happening, because I know that that's what's on everybody's mind and wants to hear that probably first and foremost. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him take that.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Christina, nod your head if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm glad that's coming out. This has been a very difficult time for everyone in higher education, as we have been faced with what to do as the COVID virus has affected people all over the country, all over the world, really. And we made the choice in March that we were not going to continue the school year. Our timing was actually pretty lucky, because our students were just about to go out on spring break. And so we told our students to take their laptops and their class materials with them, and that we would be going to all online instruction. And please don't come back to campus until this is over. And since that, as the situation has worsened, we have been delivering online instruction in all of our classes. We've worked with our students. It's actually been pretty smooth. I think our seniors are going to graduate. Our juniors are going to become seniors. Our sophomores are going to become juniors. People are getting academic credit, and they're getting quality instruction. Still, it's not as nice as having everyone together here on campus, but we have been able to continue on with instruction, academic instruction, and I think we're achieving our academic goals. I've been really pleased with the performance of the faculty and with our students, as everyone has worked together to make the most of a very difficult situation. I think that speaks for our community at Westminster. We put our students first, and the safety and security of our students, staff, and faculty was our first concern. But we still have a mission to perform, and given that we're taking care of the safety and security of our folks, we did everything we could and have done everything we could to deliver high quality academic instruction, which is truly why people come to our school. So it's been working well. We're going to have to reschedule our graduation. Right now we've set a tentative date for the 7th or the 8th of August. We're hoping that by then that this pandemic will have mitigated somewhat, and people are back to at least a fairly normal way of life. We anticipate that we will be fully loaded at the start of the fall semester. We believe that there will be athletics, there will be academics, there will be social activities, there will be trips, that we will be back to a fairly normal set of circumstances here on the campus. But we're also making contingency plans to be sure that we can continue to deliver quality academic experience to our students should there be some continuation of the pandemic or some resurgence. We're making plans for all aspects of the college, and we've got it under control. It's going to be a good year for the rest of this year, and it's going to be a good year next year. Our college is financially stable. We are doing just fine financially, in spite of the strain of the stock market going down, which of course affects the endowment. But we've got a $50 million endowment, and it's holding strong, and we're able to apply it where we need to. We have a generous set of alums who are helping support us with additional funds if we need them. And we're also, at least at this point, looking very good for our enrollments next year. So I'm optimistic. The college is in great shape. You made a good choice to come here, because we're going to be here, and we're going to be delivering a quality academic experience. And hopefully we'll be full up in terms of all of the social and athletic activities that go along with that quality academic experience. So you made a good choice to come to Westminster College. It's a great experience. We're going to get through this crisis, and it's going to be as strong as ever in the years to come. So congratulations on a good choice. We're really happy that you're choosing Westminster College, and we'll sure be here when you arrive in the fall.
Great. Thank you so much, President Lapkin. We will get through this. That is right. It has definitely made everything we do different, but it is kind of fun to be able to see all these faces that we normally wouldn't. So I think now, given that, again, that we're still talking about contingency plans and everything, and all of our faculty and students and staff having to flip to online, I think it's probably good now to go ahead and go into Barry, have Dr. Bum and Dr. Nate talk about that. Tell us more about Digital Blue. Explain how it's worked for us and how it would be in place if it came to that for some reason again, but just to know that we've got everything in order.
So as you heard Christina introduce me, all my students call me Dr. Bum. Bumgarner's just long. But for those of you wondering, I am related to Madison Bumgarner, and James Garner for that matter. But with our Digital Blue, we have iPads. So if everyone can see, I've got my iPad here, and this is my Westminster iPad with keyboard and all. I have my pencil here. You will notice that I'm zooming on my MacBook, but a couple of folks asked questions about whether their students would need a laptop too. It kind of depends on how your son or daughter is already using a laptop and how they're using their iPad. If you can see, what we give you is the newest version of the iPad, and I have opted to get a case, and the case was about $30, which makes it operate much like a laptop, and it can spin around in this case and operate like a tablet. The pencil itself has been a huge asset for me as a professor because I can grade and really interact using that. The perks to having a laptop as well is for robust video making. Several things that the iPad can make movies in iMovie, but there are some things on Canvas that, quite honestly, I use my laptop for. Now, can a student survive with just an iPad? Sure. We have computer labs where they can go to the computer lab if they want to create some other things. The great piece about us and the timing, we had gone one-to-one 2 years ago with faculty getting iPads, and this last year was the first year of all students having iPad and pencils. So we were very lucky. The timing of this, as horrible as the pandemic has been, our timing was fortuitous in that everyone was pretty comfortable with this, and Zooming and Canvas. I've been giving daily tutorials to faculty, and I would say we have over 90% of our faculty very effectively and just very consistently using Zoom. I Zoom with my students 2 to 3 times a week. Every class meets at least once face-to-face. I teach all age levels from freshmen to seniors, but many of my lower level classes I meet with more often than my seniors who are doing some independent research, but I still Zoom for class on Mondays. What our Digital Blue initiative really allows us to do is there's not much I can't do in Zoom that I could do face-to-face. Now, would I want to do this all the time? No, I believe very much in learning by doing. I taught junior high for a lot of years. I actually was a daycare director, kindercare director also, but I believe very much in learning by doing. So this would not be my preference, but it has been a very healthy substitution for me. Having this place, my students begin presentations next week, and I am not stopping that. My students will still present using the Zoom feature. They can share their screen. They can break folks up into groups, and they're doing whiteboarding activities. So there are a lot of wonderful things happening because of Digital Blue and having the equity of everybody having the same device, where Wi-Fi can be an issue. We've actually been able to problem solve a lot of that because of initiatives of providing Wi-Fi and some other options for that. But I'm happy to answer any questions you all have. You'll also notice I have earbuds in my ear. There are some cheaper alternatives, but I've talked with Tony in the bookstore. We will be carrying these. The AirPods will be available in the bookstore and can be treated as a text or an accessory, so that financial aid will cover this expense, and it wouldn't be an add-on expense. It would be something that students can expense with their financial aid. So if folks have questions, feel free to ask questions over in the chat feature, and we can answer those as need be. And then we'll also have time for Q&A at the end. But I feel like I am also teaching a freshman seminar. I have videos and very active and engaging activities that I'm going to be doing with my freshmen. So I'm super excited. I'm teaching a freshman seminar on serial killers. That explains a lot about me for those of you as you meet me. I'm hopefully going to be on Dateline, an episode of Dateline here in about 2 weeks for a case that I've been covering for a long time. And I may weave that into my coursework somehow with the iPad, but everything has been seamless as it can be, but I feel like we've been very effective.
Yeah, and
so shoot your questions over there.
Yeah, and to kind of build on what Barry's saying, like I'm teaching my full normal class schedule as if I was meeting in person. I'm just doing it virtually. So every normal class period, I just log on and use Zoom, and I see all of my students pretty much every day. And it's been a really nice kind of sense of, it's added a sense of normalcy to the kind of alterations that we're all making because of social distancing. The other thing is I've been directing a spring play, which understandably is not happening as we had intended originally. So the live performance of it has been canceled, but because of the fact that all of our students have iPads, we've been able to do a kind of Zoom-based streaming reading of the play, which is actually happening tomorrow night. If you're interested, go to the Westminster official Facebook page, like that Facebook page, and look in their events, and you'll see Twelfth Night. That's the play. It's by Shakespeare, if you're interested. It's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. And you can just tune into Facebook Live and watch our students who have put in a lot of work and time on a show, which unfortunately is not quite what we originally intended. But because of Digital Blue, we're able to continue some of the kind of extracurricular experiences that we would normally, do on campus, but we're doing them virtually. I know that a number of clubs and majors are having regular meetings, and they're just doing it electronically instead of meeting in person. So even if we are forced in the fall to go to some of our backup plans in case of a flare up of COVID or something similar, we will continue not only to have curricular offerings, obviously, but also we will continue to support, we have the technology in place to support extracurricular activities as well.
Great. Thank you for adding that, Nate. Thank you, both of you. Perfect. I think next, I'm going to flip it over to Dr. Callie Wright-Smith, to talk about first year experience. I know that was another question that I got from quite a few different families. So I think that is probably a good spot to go to next. Callie, can you talk about that?
Sure. So some of you have probably heard this spiel from me before if you've come for welcome visits or if you've already done virtual SOAR days. But so I'll try to give you the kind of Cliff's Notes version of what I see the first year experience being about. So really, I think we have two main goals of what we try to achieve with our students in their first year. And the first, of course, and probably most obviously, is making sure that everybody comes in with a strong academic foundation. We want to make sure that you are going to be able to have everything you need to be successful in your classes in that first year and beyond. So we have a signature course called Westminster Seminar, and every freshman, actually every student who comes in, is placed in a Westminster Seminar. And the goal of this seminar is really to smooth the transition between what it means to learn in high school and what it means to learn in college. And so we're really going to focus on teaching you how to be good critical thinkers and how to communicate well and how to do good college level research and to really just work to figure out what your strengths are and what you still need to kind of work to develop to be successful in your other classes. And it's nice because you get to do this in a pretty interesting seminar style section. Several of the people on this call have taught a seminar. Dr. Lacey, Dr. Bum, Dr. Leonard, Dr. Brown can all attest to it. But we have 12 different seminar sections for fall, and all of you will be placed in one of those sections. And the topics are all non-traditional. It's not going to be going into, English 101 or political science 101. So for instance, we have topics, we have one on when art meets chemistry. We have one on the history of music recording. We have one on warriors through history. We have, as Barry mentioned, we actually have 2 seminars, not one, but 2 seminars this sections this fall on serial killers. So we have a little bit of a theme happening this year. We have one on environmental advocacy. We have one on women in business. So they're all over the place. And so what we want to do is be able to give you the opportunity to learn in this really cool environment, get to know your seminar group and your teachers really well and have this interesting interactive experience, but also figure out how to make sure that you are really primed and ready to be effective in your other academic classes. And that's our goal on an academic front. So the other part of that is, the other goal I would say is that we really want you to fall in love with the campus and to figure out where the spaces are that you can grow and develop as a person, not just academically, but outside the classroom as well. I graduated from here, and I know that a lot of my meaningful, personal development happened in the spaces that were outside of the classroom as well. So if that means joining Eco House or the Blue Blazers Investment Club or Greek Life, or I'll put in a couple things I like, Model UN or the Remley Women's Center that Dr. Brown and I co-run, or the Performing Arts Club. These are a lot of the experiences that we want you to get engaged with. And so a lot of the second part of our freshman experience is another course called The Leader Within, which is really about introducing you to all the spaces that are happening, not just academically, but all the different opportunities, resources, things that you can be a part of on campus. Because what we want you to do in that first year is to figure out what you want to do with your time at Westminster. So do you want to grow in terms of your personal wellness? Do you want to grow in terms of pursuing internships? Do you want to set study abroad goals for yourself? Do you want to focus on internships and really figuring out how to have a good path to professional development? The goal of that class is to try and really show you how you can do all of those things. So we want you to get connected academically and have a good foundation. We want you to get connected to the campus socially, and also to take advantage of all those wonderful different things we have to offer outside the classroom. Because this is a school, and I say this from experience, that if you really put out a lot to try and get involved in things, the types of opportunities for leadership that we have on our campus are very unusual. Because it's a small school, there are so many chances to get involved in a variety of different things. And that's usually what a lot of people leave here going, boy, I would have never had the opportunity to run my own community service project, or I never thought I would be the president of my Greek chapter, and I never thought I would be the captain of my softball team. And here they're able to get those experiences that they didn't expect to have. And so I think that's what we really try to do, is introduce you to all those opportunities in that first year so you can feel connected. We also try to do that by connecting you to the right people. So you're going to get a number of people that are going to be really important parts of your life in that first year. Your seminar instructor, who's also going to be your academic advisor, your LST 101, your Leader Within instructor, who's also going to be someone you work really closely with, and then also a group of peer mentors. So every seminar comes with 2 or 3 upperclassmen students who will be reaching out to you really probably in the next month or 2, because we're trying to engage with you guys a little bit earlier since we're not seeing you on campus right now for SOAR. And these students are there to just answer your questions and show you the campus and make sure that if you have questions, you have a person to go to, so that if you don't want to always rely on your professors, you have other people that you can rely on. And these kids are great. They love the campus, they know the campus, and they want to help you. So be on the lookout for emails and communication for them this summer as well, because these are kids that really want to be helpful to you. They want to answer your questions. And so they'll probably be reaching out to you all and forming connections with your seminar group pretty early on. They usually like to set up a group meet or something to kind of get that communication ball rolling. Our mentors are pretty awesome, so they'll be a huge help to you. So all these people are really about getting you to know the campus well. And we start that from New Student Week on. So from the minute you step on campus, we're going to try and make sure that you know the campus well and that you get connected to the right people, places, opportunities that are going to help you to become, an even better version of yourself. And I would put in a quick plug because really, normally we start this process not with New Student Week, but with SOAR. And unfortunately, of course, we haven't been able to have on-campus SOAR. We've moved to virtual SOAR for March and April, at least. So we do have a SOAR coming up, another SOAR day. This is Student Orientation and Registration Day. So this is when you meet with an academic advisor and register for classes. So our next day is on Friday, April 24th. So a little over a week away. Some of you that I see on here are already registered for the day, but we do have a few spaces left. So if you're wanting to go ahead and get your course schedule made, if you're wanting to have that one-on-one time with your academic advisor, go ahead and sign up for SOAR Day because we would love to kind of start working with you now and get your courses set and get you all ready for fall and start getting your questions answered as well. We'll also have virtual SOAR materials that are available on our website. You can watch videos from a lot of people on this page and others who are going to talk to you about academic support resources, financial aid, and student life and Greek life. So you can kind of get all the material that you would have gotten at our SOAR Day, but just in a different form. When you go through SOAR, you'll also get some stuff from us in the mail. So we'll send you a welcome packet with some swag and some other information. So we're trying to make sure that we give you the full SOAR experience as much as we possibly can in this new environment. But again, if you're so inclined, we'd love to have you Friday, April 24th for that SOAR Day. So if you're interested, you can sign up through the new student checklist. You can talk to your reps. They can help get you signed up for that SOAR Day as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Yes, we only got a week, and so get signed up and watch for some more emails on that. Okay, I think to continue with students and centered around students, I'm gonna now send it over to Dr. Casey Lacey, and I had a lot of questions about student life, from what can we put in our dorms and what size of things to student activities and student life. So kind of just ran the gamut. So if you could just kind of give us an overview of the questions that you had gotten submitted to you and talk about contingency of things as well, that would be perfect.
Perfect. So I know this is an incredibly uncertain time for lots of individuals. So as a psychologist, this is like a huge psychological experiment of trying to look at how everyone is processing all of this. And so I know for us at Westminster College, we are absolutely, we expect the best, but we are also planning for those other case scenarios in which we have to have contingency plans. I can tell you, and I really want to reiterate what Dr. Callie Wright-Smith said, I love being at a small school. You've made the right choice. We very much are invested in your personal development and your time here. And so that is a huge benefit. Things that continue to remain certain about Westminster is we have an amazing academic program, and has not been affected by COVID. We also have a very personal attention approach with individuals. We care about our students. We're invested in them. Again, it's been really hard. There's this picture behind me that's of campus, and it's very quiet, and it makes me very sad because I miss our students, and I really do consider it an honor to be a part of their lives. And so again, I look forward to hopefully seeing you, soon, and all of this stuff going away. But in terms of some of the questions that you asked in regards to student life, so student life encompasses lots of different areas. We have obviously residential life, which is the majority of our questions that we typically get. Also student involvement, Greek life, the Wellness Center, Center for Faith and Service, and also campus safety and security. So first, let's talk about res life. Residential life, typically for our first year students, you will fill out a housing questionnaire form. That is on your new student checklist. It is important that you fill that out first because we look at that information and very carefully assign roommates, or if individuals also want to select the opportunity to be in the single room lottery, that is your opportunity to do so if you are interested in potentially a single room. Based upon that survey, then we look at what's called our quad, which that is actually the picture behind me, is one of our quad facilities, and it's a suite style where we match up individuals. On our website, you can absolutely go there. There is an FAQ list of what to bring, what not to bring. There's actually a floor plan, so you can look at the dimensions because there was a lot of questions about that. What should I bring? What shouldn't I bring? I know that we also have some videos that we put together about res life. and we're having some RAs actually work on some additional materials for those particular questions. We do have Wi-Fi in the residential facilities. That was a question we got. And then also in terms of pictures, those are also available online. So please, if you have specific questions about residential life, do not hesitate to reach out to myself or also Alex Bryan, who's our Director of Residential Life. But I also know that lots of our admissions reps, they are very informed in regards to residential life policies or questions about that. I know there's also questions about student involvement. That is one thing. What does student life look like? We have a very, very vibrant campus. Callie touched on that a little bit, but we have lots of different clubs, campus organizations. We have a very involved student government association, campus activities board, and a very involved Greek life. So if individuals are interested in Greek life, you can find information on our website, and you can actually register for Greek recruitment. So I highly encourage you to do that. Obviously, we are planning for an in-person recruitment period. However, I know that our fraternities and sorority leaders are also looking at what would a virtual recruitment period look like. So there's lots of information about that if you're interested in Greek life. The same with athletic facilities. I know that Matt Mitchell, our athletic director, is a great resource. I know that they are currently looking at SLEAC, our conference, is looking at contingency plans in regards to athletic events and if those have to be postponed or if something comes up. So please, please stay in touch with your reps and look for the communications that we continue to send out. Lastly, we do have campus safety and security here on campus. They are still here. They operate 24/7. They can be reached by calling them by phone, but typically you'll see the car kind of driving around. So if you ever have any security needs, this is a very secure, safe campus. And our security officers really operate as ambassadors. And a lot of times you'll see them giving students rides to their classroom because it's raining or they had an ACL injury or something like that. So again, if there's specific questions for me about student life, housing, kind of our plans for stuff, please let me know. And again, you made a really, really good choice. I love this college. I went to a very similar small college, just like Westminster, and this is our home. So that personalized attention is really, really valuable in the sense that we get to know our students. That helps them with leadership opportunities. To me, that also helps them beyond here. The goal is to graduate and leave Westminster and get a job or go on to graduate school. And so we are able to write amazing letters of recommendation. I know for myself, I've written lots of students' letters because I know them really, really well. I get to be a part of their lives. And that means a lot to me. So I think I touched on most of my questions. Most of them were specific to Res Life. Please check out the website. So on there, you can click on student life, residential facilities, or student housing, and it gives you pictures, and it also gives dimensions. So if you have questions about that, please let me know.
Perfect. I will note now that after the call, I plan to send a follow-up email to everybody that was on the call today with their contact information and what they kind of are over, just so you do have their direct contact if you have more questions about something. Everything is out on the website, but this will be one place that you have it all together. So I will be sending that out afterwards. So thank you, Dr. Lacey, for that. Okay, we will continue on now, and I will ask Dr. Cinnamon Brown to cover the academic side and academic questions that we got.
Right. Well, hello, everybody. As almost all of my colleagues have already said, we in the academic area have made a lot of adjustments over the last couple of weeks with transitioning our classes to the online format. I've seen our faculty really challenge themselves to replicate what they're doing, what they would be doing in class, in an online format. Nate just mentioned moving the spring play online. So we're definitely making adjustments all the time to continue to provide the great and authentic experiences that we do in the classroom now in the online format. And certainly will be ready to do that again if we need to. I need to say real quickly, I apologize for what you might be hearing in the background. There's a pretty serious wrestling match going on upstairs in my house. This is what happens when you live with all boys. So I'm sorry if that's anything that you are picking up on this sound. So I was looking through all of your questions. You guys have some really great questions, and it's kind of, it's interesting that they're in themes. So I'm going to kind of hit each theme that you all have brought up. And the number one question I'm getting asked is about dual credit, which is a great question to ask because so many of you are taking dual credit courses right now at your high schools, and you want to make sure you get that credit here, and we want to give it to you. So really the most important thing that you want to think about in getting that dual credit transferred to Westminster is that upon the completion of that course, at the end of the semester, you want to get your transcript sent to Westminster, an official transcript from the institution that you're doing the dual credit with. And that's one thing we always remind students. I know Callie's probably reminded you at SOAR, or you're seeing it on the new student checklist, that until we get your transcript, we can't actually award you that credit, but as soon as it comes in, we do. One thing that I want to mention to you all, especially for you, for the ones of you that'll be coming to SOAR, is make sure you bring that up with your advisor. One thing that's really important for our advisors is to know what you might be transferring in, so that they don't put you in that class. Even though it'll take a little while for that transcript to get to us, the advisor can kind of work accordingly. So if you know you're gonna be transferring in a English composition or maybe a history course, make sure you let your advisor know that at the time that you're setting up your fall schedule, so that again they can plan properly. They will most likely ask you, but it might be good to come prepared with your list of possible dual credit courses. So again, once we get that official transcript, we'll get you all set up, and you know, that'll show up on your record with us pretty quickly. Another question that you all had that's a little similar is about AP. Some of you have expressed some concerns about if we're going to continue to take AP credit, and the answer is yes. The important thing to know about AP credit is that you have to take the test. Some students opt to just take the AP course and then they don't take the concluding exam. The only way that we here at Westminster can take that credit is if you actually take the AP exam at the conclusion of your course. Also, the other thing to remember is that you will have to score. Every department has a different score that they will take for their classes, but it's anywhere between a score of 3, 4, or 5. So again, if you're worried about AP, as long as you're taking the exam, then we will be able, and I should say, and score what you need to, we'll be more than happy to continue to accept that credit as well for the fall. Some other questions that you all have were kind of about self-design majors, and I'm so glad that you guys brought it up. One of the, I think the coolest thing that we have at Westminster, I've never seen it anywhere else I've ever been as a student or worked, is a self-design major. And we also have a self-design minor. So if you are a student that has multiple interests, which we have so many students do, and it doesn't quite work with doing a traditional major, the self-design is an excellent way to kind of bridge together some of your interests and your passions. For some students, they do a self-design to kind of create something as they're looking forward to a pre-professional program or graduate school or something that they want to do after they leave Westminster. Again, minors can be self-designed as well. And the way that a self-design major works is that you will actually have, instead of one advisor, you'll actually kind of have a committee, because self-design majors by design are very interdisciplinary. So we put together a committee of 3 professors, and those professors are bringing in their individual expertise to really give you a great set of courses that make that major not only really unique to you, but also something that's very marketable, that allows you to be prepared for the next step of your life. So working with self-design, I think as a professor is a blast. It's so fun to create majors with students and kind of, again, taking their passions and their interest and putting it as something that they can study and move forward with. Another great question that one of you asked is about double majoring. Can you double major? And the answer is yes. we actually have a lot of students that choose to do a double major. And what I always like to see is how different sometimes these majors can be. For someone who's in the history department, I will tell you, over the years, I've seen about 7 kids major in accounting and history. And it's actually a really cool combination. One student went to be an accountant for the State Department doing that combination. So we certainly encourage double majoring. One thing to keep in mind is you have to have 122 hours to graduate. And so sometimes students fill those extra hours with a double major. Another thing to think about, though, is we have a lot of minors and also certificate programs. And so for students who might have a major that has a lot of requirements, but they still want to pick up something else, we would certainly recommend a minor or a certificate to still give them the background in some other fields and disciplines that they might be interested in. So we have a lot of opportunities for students that, again, have a lot of different interests or want to kind of diversify the things that they are learning. Another kind of great set of questions that you all sent in were about support. What kind of academic support can we provide for you here? Certainly Callie, Dr. Wright-Smith has already covered just the great support that we provide to you all as incoming freshmen, which is through the first year experience. But even after you're a freshman, there's really great sources of support. First and foremost is your academic advisor. Academic advisors are going to be there to help you create your plan of courses and to get you on a plane to graduation. But your academic advisor is also going to be there, again, to have those conversations with you about what happens after Westminster. Is it graduate school? What job might you be looking in? You know, what are some things you can be doing now to prepare for that, whether that's an internship or shadowing. So your academic advisor kind of really becomes a support system, not just to tell you what classes to take, but to really help you be on that path to graduation and beyond. We also have other great support services such as tutoring. We do have tutoring available for a lot of, particularly our gen ed classes. Every semester, you do see some upper level courses also have tutoring. That's all run through what we call our Learning Opportunity Center. It's also, the Learning Opportunity Center is also the place where students who might have different learning differences and need different accommodations will go, and they have an amazing staff that supports students throughout their time here at Westminster and getting the resources they need, but also making sure that what they're doing in the classroom is really playing to their strengths and the different things that they need. We also have the Student Success Center. It's a relatively new center on campus, but we kind of look at it in a lot of ways as a one-stop shop where students can go to talk to an advisor, to be able, if they want to go to the study abroad office, they want to go to the career development office, it's actually all in one place, housed in our library. So it makes it easier for students to seek the services that they need and to find someone that can be there to answer questions. All of our Student Success Center staff are also what we call academic coaches that can help students kind of maneuver all the different pathways that they have here at Westminster. So certainly we take our support of students very seriously, and I think that's why a lot of you have chosen Westminster, is to get that one-on-one attention that we really pride ourselves on. The last question that I will answer, because it came up several times, is about athletes and how do you keep up with classes? We have a lot of athletes on our campus. Professors are very used to, a good chunk of their students being athletes. And I think we've over time developed some really great systems. First and foremost, when you are off campus for an athletic event, it is excused. But we also really empower you all as student athletes to be able to have the right conversations with your professors about when you need to turn in work that you will miss, or when you need to reschedule an exam. That we really look to you all to work with your professors and kind of initiate those conversations. But certainly professors are always going to be willing to work with you on making sure that you're not falling too far behind, and that, again, you're kind of up to date on all of your assignments. But that's certainly going to be a collaboration between you and each faculty member that you all kind of maneuver together. So, so definitely student athletes are supported here, are welcome, and we're certainly used to finding interesting ways to keep you all caught up, especially if you're traveling a lot for your season. I'm happy to always answer any questions that you all might have. I'm the only Cinnamon Brown at Westminster, probably in the state of Missouri. So anytime that you have additional questions, I have a great team around me that includes 2 other deans, as well as our registrar, our transfer experience coordinator, Neil Hunt. So for a lot of you who are thinking about the dual credit, he's going to be a great resource. So don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. But we're so excited to have you at Westminster. We hope to see you in person in the fall, but we're really glad that you'll be joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. That was great information, covering a lot of stuff. We're moving along pretty well. At this point, I think the last thing that I had as far as the topics to be covered from questions that came in would be the financial aid side. And I know we had questions for scholarships and grants and all things financial aid. And luckily we have Amy Bristow that is all things financial aid money. So I'm gonna send it over to you.
Thanks, Christina. All right, like everybody else, you guys submitted several great questions in regards to financial aid. So I know that we've had the opportunity over the past several months to email and talk with several of the students and their parents, and look forward to continuing to have those conversations throughout the rest of the spring and summer before you arrive on campus in the fall. But just to kind of cover some of the things that you were asking about, we have mailed out financial aid notifications to students, so domestic students receive those in the mail, and many of you have received maybe multiple versions of those depending on different changes that you have experienced in your financial aid eligibility. And then our international students who have joined us, those students have received their financial or their scholarship notifications via email. So everyone has been communicated with, and many of you have already had the opportunity to have conversations with your admissions counselors to go over the financial aid and the cost estimate for the upcoming school year. Kind of a plug for SOAR. In addition to the opportunity for you to meet with your advisor and register for classes, we are also providing individual financial aid appointments during SOAR as well. So if you have not had an opportunity to have that personalized conversation, we still have appointments available, and there was a link in the information that came out this week. Some of you have already signed up, but we still have some other appointments available if anyone else would like to sign up, as well as we're available just by phone and by email to answer any questions that you might have. Specifically, you asked questions about work study. So work study, if a student is eligible for work study, that was listed on your financial aid notification as an opportunity for financial aid. That is managed here on campus by our Human Resources Department. So when a student arrives on campus in the fall, they will work with Human Resources to complete their personnel file. So work study is a real part-time job, so they will complete the standard personnel forms, I-9, W-4 forms, and provide the supporting documentation that they would for any other part-time job that they might have. After they have completed their personnel file with Human Resources, they will be able to review the list of job opportunities through a student portal, and then they'll be able to submit those applications. Once they have been hired for a position on campus, they will work with their respective site supervisor to establish a work schedule. Most of our students are going to be working an average of about 5 to 7 hours per week. And if they do that throughout the entire academic year, they will have had the opportunity to earn the amount that was listed on their financial aid letter. The default process is to pay the students directly, and that is through a direct deposit through their personal checking or savings account. So part of the personnel paperwork that they will complete with Human Resources is the direct deposit information. And then if they choose, they can prefer to designate those funds to their student account. So there is an alternative form that a student can complete, which would allow them to apply those paychecks directly to any outstanding balance that remains on their student billing account, as opposed to having that money paid directly to the student. If a student chooses not to work, that is their choice. They're not required to, but that is money that they would forfeit in their financial aid if they chose not to work. In regards to scholarships, if students are looking for additional scholarship opportunities, I would refer you to our website. There is a page on our financial aid section dedicated specifically to scholarships, and you will find at the bottom of that page some links to some websites for privately funded scholarships. I encourage students as they are at home finishing up their senior year that if they have free time, now's a great time to be submitting scholarship applications so that they can research additional funding options to assist them with covering their educational expenses. Starting next week, we will be sending out instructions for students and parents to apply for loans. So the Department of Education is updating their website this weekend, and the process to apply for student and parent loans will go live next week. We'll be emailing the students and copying the parents on that so everyone has the same information next week, and that will give you the instructions to submit the applications for the Federal Direct Stafford loans, which is the student loans. And for students who have filed their FAFSAs, that would have been included as part of their financial aid letter that we mailed out. And then parents who choose to borrow money will have the opportunity to apply for the Federal Direct Plus loan, which is a credit-based loan through the Department of Education, allowing parents to borrow money to cover their child's educational expenses. So instructions will be coming out next week, so please watch your email for that information. There was a question about military benefits. Our registrar is our official VA certifying rep, but she and I work very closely together with our military students. So if a student is expecting to use military benefits, we do need to receive a copy of their certificate of eligibility from the VA to confirm those benefits. And then the student would work closely with our registrar, Phyllis Masick, so that she can certify enrollment, and that is what generates the kind of gets the ball rolling for those benefits, whether they're going to be coming to the school or whether those are benefits that are paid directly to the student, depending on eligibility of the student. So if anyone has any questions specifically about that and we haven't already talked, I would encourage you to get in touch with me and we can kind of talk through that depending on your own individual eligibility for VA benefits. That pretty much, oh, it would also indicate something that we started this year was guaranteeing all of our scholarships. And so I know right now finances are a concern for everyone. And just being able to count on their scholarships being there for every year that they are here at Westminster is something that can give students and families peace of mind. So this year we rolled out the promise of guaranteeing the scholarships. So that means whatever scholarships that the student is coming in with when they start school in the fall, they will be able to count on those scholarships from Westminster every year that they are here. So academic scholarships are awarded to students to recognize their academic accomplishments in high school. And we know that students are going to have every opportunity to be successful here at Westminster. And so taking some of that pressure off of them to know that they don't have to have a straight 4.0 GPA to renew those scholarships, that as long as the student remains at Westminster, they'll be able to count on those scholarships to renew for the next 3 years that they're here as well. And again, just to remind you that even though many of us are working virtually, that we are still here and recognizing that financial aid can be very confusing. And we welcome conversations with students and parents as you're maneuvering through that process. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Amy. Okay, well, that was a lot of really great stuff. I think at this time, it might just be as easy if you have other questions, if you just want to type it in the chat, and then I can kind of watch there and read it out loud, flip it over to the person I think that probably should take it. Do you guys have questions? Anything more? Like I said, I will send a follow-up email out to everyone that has all of the panel members, so that can help you directly. And Barry put her information in the chat. If you have stuff about, specifically questions about Digital Blue, she would be the person to talk about all of it. Anybody? Does anybody else, panel-wise, does anybody have anything that they want to add to it?
I would like to add a couple things. I think that as you come to Westminster College, one of the things that we expect you to do, that we we put as a very high priority is that you figure out what you're going to do with your life. You know, not everybody has it all figured out by the time they finish high school. In fact, most of us don't. In fact, most of us never figure it out. Only about 40% of the people in the United States ever figure that out. And it's true, however, that if you do figure that out, you're going to live longer, be happier, make more money, have better relationships, all of it. Just be a happier, more successful person. And so we put a high priority on that here at Westminster, that we give you a chance to explore, to think about things, interact with our faculty and our staff and your friends. And as you figure it out, then we will help prepare you to fulfill your dreams. You have a purpose in life. We prepare you to fulfill that purpose. And if you look at our graduates and what they're able to achieve, it's pretty spectacular. We rank very high in salaries earned just by our recent graduates, top 15% in the nation. And these are kids that are graduating from school in the middle of the Midwest. We have successful people in every walk of life. And we have a very strong alumni network that helps you connect, helps you get jobs, and helps you fulfill your career. So it's a really great experience at Westminster College. Even virtually, it's kind of fun. But when you come to our campus, when you meet our people, you become a part of this family, you'll find yourself in a secure, safe environment where you can learn, you can express yourself, you can grow, and you can fulfill prepare yourself to fulfill your dream to become a person who's successful in life, whose life makes a difference, and that you help other people at the same time. So we congratulate you on your choice to come to Westminster, and it's my hope as the college president that you take advantage of the opportunity that's here. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to help you be successful in life. It's going to help just make you, you're going to make friends here that are going to last you forever, both on the faculty side and even a staff person or two, maybe a president. And then most of all, your teammates, your fraternity mates, your sorority sisters, and the people that you meet in the classroom, people that you interact with every day. It's a family that's wonderful, and it stays with you the rest of your life. And I think you're going to just have a terrific experience here.
I would agree. Thank you for that. We do have some questions that have come in now, so I'm going to kind of read through. The first one that came in was about financial aid. Will departments also give additional aid? Amy? Edit. There you go.
Sorry, had to unmute. Now, usually the financial aid is all coordinated through the financial aid office. And so usually our academic departments do not have their own individual financial aid awards that would provide additional funding over and above what the student has already been awarded through their most recent financial aid package.
Great. Okay, let's see. Emotional support animal. Casey, can you speak on that? Is there separate housing for that?
Yeah, there's a few housing questions. I'll go ahead and answer those. So as soon as individuals fill out their housing form, once we get that through the new student checklist, please indicate on there if you have a roommate that maybe you already know someone and you want to room with them. Make sure that both individuals put that on their form. Then you will receive a letter. We will either email it or also mail letter to your house so that you know where you're assigned in regards to housing. If individuals need an emotional support animal, they do have to complete the form that is online and send in that documentation. It does not mean that they're necessarily going to get a single room. It just means that we're obviously going to make sure that they're matched up with individuals who are also okay in regards to allergies or things like that for the emotional support animal. The other thing, I think there was a few other questions about housing. Again, most of that will be in the letters. There is an extra charge for the single room lottery. So it is $500 a semester. We only have so many available, so that's why it's referred to as the lottery system. So it's important that you get on that list if you are interested in that option. Again, it's still suite style, so you will be around. We still value that community living space, but we do know that a lot of individuals are used to having their own rooms. And so if they want to continue with that, they still get the great experience of meeting other people, but they don't have to actually share a physical room. There was also a question I saw about Greek life. It is definitely a very big part of our campus, but we also have lots of other opportunities to get involved here on campus. So lots of campus clubs and organizations, like I mentioned earlier. We do have we're close to about 46% of our students are involved in a fraternity or sorority. Again, that's an opportunity for them to find their sense of belonging, as the president mentioned. You get to find your home here and connect with individuals. And I am very proud of our fraternities and sororities in regards to, the living by their values, the philanthropy, the bonds that they make with each other. I think that is definitely a benefit, but because someone does not want to be affiliated with a Greek chapter, that is also okay. You will find your home here, regardless if you're affiliated or not. We have lots of student athletes that also find their friends in those friend groups, but again, lots and lots of opportunities. I don't know if there was any other me questions.
I think the other ones have been addressed for the most part. Dr. Smith took care of it. Looks like there are other questions we had about Westminster seminar. And Dr. Bum talks about iPads and laptops. It looks like we have one about a group chat on social media for the class of 2024 to know each other beforehand. Is anything like that's been done on the student life side? I feel like maybe that had happened at one point, but is there anything with that?
Kelly, are you doing anything for first year?
I mean, we have a first year experience Facebook page that we update pretty regularly, and we introduce our mentors through that. Of course, we know not all of you use Facebook, but I haven't expanded my technological reach beyond that at this point. I will say that all of your seminar sections will definitely have your own kind of coordination. Like some of the seminar instructors set up their own groups specifically on social media. And as I said before, all the mentors themselves will specifically contact all of their sections and the people in their sections within the next month or two to set up group meets. So we do have kind of individual section specific groupings, but I would say that one thing that I'll make sure that your mentors do will be to kind of work together, and we can actually facilitate this, just find ways that they can bring more communication amongst the people in the different sections. That way you can start to get to know each other a little bit. And so I'll have some of the mentors work on making some common spaces for all of you to get to know each other a little bit more over the summer too.
Great. It looks like we have one, and Paul, this one may for you, as far as plans for a spring tour of campus later in the month of May. They came for a football tour and wondered, I will say I did just see that the governor here in Missouri has extended our social distancing guidelines until May 4th. And my understanding is that we will be opening up at a limited capacity after that. Don't know what that will mean for us, but I did just see that. Paul, do you want to address that?
No, I think we're kind of at the mercy of the guidelines given to us by the state. I mean, if there's an opportunity to host students on campus again, and that is cleared, we'll definitely take advantage of that opportunity.
Okay. And then I see Kara addressed that we do have the virtual visits, if that would interest you. For sports in this coming year, yes, I would contact the coaches, and your admissions rep should be able to help you with that as well. I think that covers it. Is there anything more? Does anybody have anything more that they?
I'm just going to make another comment on the sports. I just talked to Matt Mitchell, our athletic director, about an hour ago. He says that the SLIAC conference expects to have a normal season, but if for whatever reason there's a resurgence or there's some sort of delay, they're just going to be flexible. But the goal is that all sports will have a season and they will compete. So we're counting on a very vigorous athletic program for the coming year.
I think there was one other one that Dr. Lincoln is maybe for you, that other universities are talking about postponing being on site until January 2021. Do we have any sense of when we would make a decision regarding this?
Oh, I can't imagine that would happen, frankly, but we will have to go with state guidelines and what the rest of the country is doing. Again, the safety and security is our top priority, but we also have a mission to deliver a very important academic program, and we would like to do that face-to-face, in person, if at all possible. The country right now doesn't know how or when we're going to return to some semblance of normalcy, but certainly by August, we should have made a lot of progress, and it's our anticipation that we're going to be in person on campus. But if for some reason this pandemic has extended beyond what people are predicting, then we'll just be flexible and figure out a way to deliver classes online as we have done in this past semester. Certainly becomes complicated. It's difficult for freshmen who are going to be starting out their first year in an online environment, and they're really not, that's just not the best way to go. It's our goal to be on campus in person at the start of the normal year. And all of us just need to realize, though, we need to be flexible and we need to do what is safe and reasonable. At the same time, we don't become unreasonably cautious. So that's basically where we are at this point.
Great, thank you. Looks like, Casey, there's one on here, I think probably the last one for you, alcohol on campus. Do you want to address that?
That's always a fun question. We are not a dry campus, so we are a wet campus, so if you want to use those terms. Obviously, students have to be of age to have alcohol. In regards to certain facilities, there are some regulations. The fraternities actually nationally have not allowed alcohol in their facilities, so they cannot have hard alcohol. So there's specific regulations for that. But yes, there is alcohol that is allowed on campus if individuals are of age.
Great, thanks for addressing it.
Real quick too, and yes, I saw the piece of it, as long as it's supervised. We do have RAs, and also, like I stated, campus security. Because we're a small campus, we also have live-in professionals that are around, so we make sure that is monitored in a safe way. So.
I see a question about the bookstore. We were just having that conversation this morning, so that they have got lots of stuff that can be shipped. So yes, you can check them out online.
– Christina, I had one other thing, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
So a couple of people have asked me if they sign up for virtual SOAR, if, for example, we ended up having an in-person SOAR later on in the summer, if they'd be able to attend. And yes, of course. Ultimately, we want to get you registered for classes. We want you to have a good solid plan for your courses in the fall. We do have a SOAR day that is scheduled for June 19th as well. We haven't made a determination of what to do with that day just yet, but in theory, if we had an in-person SOAR on that day, or later in the summer, if we determined that that was a good way to go, if there were still enough students that we needed to register, then of course, if we registered you for virtual SOAR on March 28th or April 24th, you're more than welcome to come still to campus and meet your advisor in person, or talk with someone one-on-one, make any changes you need to make as well. So I would say, don't wait to do your SOAR registration, hoping that maybe we come together in person later, because ultimately, even if you participate in virtual SOAR and still want to come to campus later, that's great. And I would say I am here 12 months of the year as well. And so quite frankly, I do a lot of meetings with parents one-on-one and students one-on-one. I'm happy anytime, like if a person is just like, hey, the SOAR days doesn't work for me, but I'd really like to talk to someone like this in person and chat about my options. You can always email me directly, and I'd be happy to set up meetings with you to talk about courses or answer any questions you have. So there are options down the road that if we get a little bit deeper into summer and find that it's okay for us to be back in the same space together, that you could come to campus even if you participate in virtual SOAR now. So it's a great idea if you're ready to get registered for classes, to get going on that, and to have that plan in place. And then, you know, if the best case scenario works out and we're able to kind of do something in person later, we would, you know, be happy to welcome you to campus then as well.
Great, thank you, Callie. Okay, do we have anything else before we wrap it up? I see lots of information in the chat. Thank you, Kara, and everybody that's answering everybody's questions. Casey, there's a question about sports. Are there sport-like clubs that students can join?
Absolutely. So we have a whole list of our clubs and organizations on the website. But the cool thing about Westminster is that if we don't have it, you can make it. So if students are interested in starting particular clubs or organization, I know there's been a lot of conversation around esports. So my friend Nick Watson and Barry would be excited about that. But again, there's a whole list of different clubs and organizations here on campus that are active. But like I said, if there's not one, you have the opportunity to start one. It's really easy to do.
Good questions. Did everything get answered that you had? Nate, do you see that? Performing arts?
Yeah, I saw it. If you want to be part of the performing arts program, you do not have to audition beforehand. We have a very open door policy. So when you show up in the fall, you know, we will be at the student activity fair, and just come out and you'll get your name on a list and you'll join up. It'll be great.
Excellent. One more housing question. Casey, are you on that? Yep. Turn it in. Get your forms turned in, and you can sign up as soon as you do it. Okay. Excellent. I hope it was helpful. This was, I think, well, not all of us that are online all the time, like our online folks. This has been a new experience, but I told somebody the other day, it's been kind of fun to watch everything on TV, the interviews, and kind of see people in their own setting. It puts a little bit of a realness to them that I don't think we wouldn't have ever seen. So I think it's kind of cool. So it's nice to see you all. I love the puppy that you're holding. That is adorable. I've been looking for a bulldog. It's so cute. At least I think that's what it is. So I've enjoyed that. He makes me relax looking at him sleeping. So this has been fun and it worked out. So I think everybody. Paul, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I think this has been great from our end. I just hope it's been helpful for the students and parents on their end as they continue this journey to Westminster.
Excellent. Onward and upward. We'll see you all in the fall then. Watch for an email that has all the information and you know how to get a hold of us.